Don't blink. Don't blink. Don't look away. Don't look
I'm
away.
not.
The algorithm is going to get you.
I'm not. Hey, you know what's funny is the last 3 or 4 of them, the thumbnail you're blinking, you're literally
Every time.
every time.
Well, there was one where I just looked like this crazed lunatic psychopath killer. Like,
Yeah, right. Don't close my eyes. I don't know. I know you don't really like sitcoms, but the Goldbergs, all the promotional pictures I've seen for the show,
Yeah.
it was a picture of the family, and the one kid is always like that, always got his eyes closed and he's smiling. Every picture he's got his eyes closed.
That reminds me, it's Ryan Cale's birthday today. Why does that remind me of Ryan Cale? Because when I was on the employee committee taking pictures of employee committee members, he said, I can never get a picture with my eyes open. It's like, okay, hold them. And I
Oh,
even try okay, I'm going to count to 3, Ryan. Ready?
mhm.
1, click. Damn, he had his eyes closed.
Oh yeah. You know what? I'll tell you, there was a lady at the law firm. I've talked about this before. I did all the headshots for everybody, and there was this one lady. She goes, there's nothing I can do. I blink in every picture. I was like, okay, well, let's give it a shot. And sure enough, I bet I took 10 pictures of that lady before I got one without her blinking. And what's funny,
You just need a
she
burst shot because
look,
you can't blink for more than
I
like a burst.
I pulled a Photoshop on this. What I did was she was blinking and I caught it with just one eye closed. I don't know how you do that.
You took the eye and you inverted it?
Yes, I did. And it looked good enough. I was like, see? Yeah. But yeah, I took several pictures. The flash had a mode for that specific reason, for red eye. And it would do a pre-flash and then do the flash. And I
Yeah.
thought, okay, I'll do the pre-flash. And then the regular flash will kick in and she wouldn't see it. And then every time it's like, man, you're killing me.
Scott says, hi, boys.
Hey,
John Miller Jr.'s on board.
We'll meet you at Gibney's on Wednesday.
Sweep the leg, Johnny. No googly eyes. I saw a lady. We were on our way to church this morning, and she was coming at us, and she had these sunglasses on with maybe like 5 or 6 millimeter frames on them, perfectly circular. They were white, so the lenses were dark, almost black, and it looked like she had the googly eyes.
Right. That's funny.
I have a package of googly eyes I'm bringing of assorted sizes.
Actually, I want to get a set of the bigger ones, like that.
The one that was on the Velociraptor?
Yeah, that's right. I want to put them on my Oculus goggles.
So it doesn't look like you just have your head in a box. It looks like you got these.
Yeah, somebody said, Craig, what are you doing? I'll flip around and,
or those springy eyes off the glasses with the springy eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With that, I think we should begin the
Scott
show.
Tyler, eyes up here. Eyes up here.
That's right.
All right.
All right. You ready? Recording in 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 684. Dragon Con, here we come. How did we get to 684?
One step at a time.
That's like an alcoholic program or something?
Yeah.
A
That's
disaster
right.
recovery program?
There's only 700 more steps to go.
Grief? The 684 stages of grief of Technorama. Yes. Hey, welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek that qualifies us. My name is Chuck Tomasi from Phoenix, Arizona, and joining me right across the virtual table is Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. As we talked a little bit on the pre-show, I was having trouble being motivated on Friday afternoon. I will tell you that, because I kept thinking, what should I put on my checklist? I'm ready to go and see everybody, blah, 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 kind of going bouncing back and forth. And what I'm talking about if you're not sure, if you haven't heard us talk about this before, we're going to Dragon Con in Atlanta, which happens every year, except for COVID year. But it happens every year. We go down there with a bunch of our friends, and what 20,
Or in some
30,
cases, if it's Gary,
80,000
it's
more
up there.
people.
You
Was that?
you gotta get your geography straight. With Gary, it's up there.
Well, that's Gary's fault. I'm not, that's not in Atlanta there. So I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, we go over there and have a good time, do the parade. We do a lot of the same things, but it's nice to get away and be out of reality for a little while.
Yes, it is. This is one of the highlights of my year every year. Hang out with friends, have some fun. Have you
No,
been preparing your liver?
yeah, I'm pickling it now. What are you talking about? John Miller Jr., you need to go to Dragon Con some year.
Yes, he does.
He should definitely go down there.
You want a
He would have
really
a
good
ball.
time, don't hang out with us.
No, I actually want him to go down there and hang out with him. He would love every minute of it, I'm telling you.
Yes, we would. We have a bit of a sad notification that one of our earliest and very faithful listeners, Mark Shepard, not the Mark Shepard from television. Not we have
Yeah,
quite a few of those now, don't we? That Mark
yeah,
Shepard? No, not
that
that
much.
Mark. Our Mark Shepard.
That's right.
He passed away earlier this year, and Craig mentioned this on his Dog Days podcast, and as
Well,
did I.
well, the funny thing, not funny, but the sad thing is, I knew a couple years ago, I had talked to his daughter, and she said he had a
A
stroke,
stroke? Yeah.
and he was in pretty bad shape. And so, um, when I was recording my show the other night, I remembered something he had said to me. So I didn't know what his state was at that point, and I looked, and all you had to do is look down his Facebook just a little bit, and you could see where his daughter had made a post um, that he had passed away. And it really saddens me. I
Wait,
thought about that. Huh?
which daughter? Sandy is his wife.
Sandy is his wife.
Yeah.
I figure
That's
I
the
don't know her name right now.
Okay, that's the link you sent me, and I put a message
Yeah, I
on
know. Yeah,
Sandy's.
yeah, no, no. I had messaged his daughter a while back. She's the one that told me they had a stroke. So I went from there.
Gotcha.
Her looked at her profile, and she had a post about him passing away. Anyway, so needless to say, it was bothering me the other day because had no idea, but I was just thinking about it pretty heavily. It was waiting on me a little bit last week when I found out. So I'm sorry to hear that, and anyway, he was a
I
great
did
he was a supporter of the show. He
Yes, he
called in
was.
a lot.
He called in, he sent us audio clips. I did find one of them. I know we had a lot of them, and we have a lot of clips, so I was sort of fumbling through them this afternoon and found this one.
Chuck Tomasi and Craig Steck bring you Chuck Chat Technorama, the place where common sense stops and geekiness begins.
Wow, he did a really nice stereo and echo effect on that.
I know.
It was like early audio, people. Sort of like early desktop publishing when you tried to use every typeface and every font style you can. This is what happens.
It reminds me of my Radio Shack reverb thing. You had a knob, you could just set the delay on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Mark was a good guy. We will miss him.
Yes.
On a little brighter news, we're recording this on Sunday, the 28th, but on Saturday, the 27th, spent some time with an old coworker and friend of mine, Brad Miller. He's also been to Dragon Con and,
Yes.
Listener of the
He
show.
has. Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah, years ago.
Okay.
It was like 2011, 2012. Well, he
Wait,
surprised
he was there
me.
when we were there? No.
Yes. He
Did I meet
surprised
him?
Yes.
Okay.
Real memorable impression, huh?
I'm just kidding.
He
Yeah.
surprised me with a very, very nice gift. He gave me a hypo spray med kit. He 3D printed this.
Sweet.
All right. He said, this is to help protect you against whatever, COVID or whatever is at Dragon Con. I mean, he's got some fairly detailed hypo sprays, 2 of them with, multicolor and a pair of red and blue. I don't know if this is like the Matrix where, take the blue.
Yeah, you got to pick one.
Here. And, they magnetically slide in there and stay.
Magnets. Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, wow. So I said, I am definitely bringing this. And then we can go around and spray people.
So
So
when
there
you get
you're
too
an al
drunk, we can just hit that and deactivate
the
the side
alcohol.
effects of alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah, and then people are gonna be running around going, "Assassins! Murderers!" Like, "No, we gave McCoy the wrong one again." This
That's right.
Stokeline stuff, it's pretty tricky.
No,
Don't
that's pretty
fall
nice
under
of you.
nipple
That's
spray.
cool.
It was great. I mean, it is a secure lockbox. I mean, listen to this.
Gosh. He 3D printed that whole thing?
Yes.
That is awesome.
Multicolor resin this is awesome. I was dumbfounded, like, wow, this is
Have you
so
tried
cool.
John Miller Jr., have you tried vodka?
See? Room
Oh,
for
wow.
everything.
That looks great. That looks even better open. That's cool.
With the foam in there and everything. It's
Wow.
pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
I need a 3D printer. I've been down for one of those.
He's got 5. I'm sure.
5?
Donna was the whole time he was telling me about his 3D printer. It's like, don't tell Chuck. Don't tell Chuck. I was like, no, I'm purposely staying away from the 3D printers because I know it would be a time suck.
Yeah, I have a feeling if I got one, there'd be probably 5 or 6 things I'd print right off the bat. Then I'd be
And
like,
that would be it.
what am I gonna do next? You
It
know?
would be like the treadmill of geek things.
Yeah, that's right.
Really get into it for about 3 months and then there it
All
sits
right.
collecting dust.
I don't know. I could probably come up with some ideas. But yeah, you're right. I don't know. I watched this one guy. I think everybody knows about it. That does 3D printing. His name's Uncle Jesse. He goes by Uncle Jesse on on YouTube, and he's got all kinds of stuff he's printed, and it's all
Yep.
behind him. I'm like, wow, it's amazing. But when you're raking in money from YouTube, you can probably afford to print.
Unlike us.
And he's reviewing units, so they send him the units.
Yes,
So
that
he
makes
gets all
sense.
these high end new units, and I'm like, yeah, you're just giving me 3D printer envy.
Well, speaking of envy, should we talk about people that the question of the week? That's what I was after.
Oh yeah,
But we never played our feedback music. Let's do this.
that's right.
Get on the ball here, Charles.
Letters, oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Mailman, mailman, mail.
Is this the one with the harp at the end?
Yeah, maybe.
Let's find out what you got to say.
No, that is with the typewriter.
Here you go.
Mail today.
Let's see. Is it? No, I think it's the ending part. Hey, so first off, I want to tell you this. I posted on Facebook before we started. It says about to make podcasting history. Well, we never recorded 600 an episode called 684 before, so I figured I'd do that. And I got a clapping gif. Jeremy Olick says, that statement can be interpreted positively or negatively. And my buddy Russell Baxley says, I pray you're wearing pants. Well, you're in
That's
luck.
debatable.
You're in luck. I'm wearing pants.
Don't stand up. Don't stand up.
Here
All
we
right,
go.
our question last week was, what are some of your all-time favorite books you have read?
Yes.
And we got
All right.
Lone Guy's Night, who gave us a few. The Dresden Files,
Hmm.
Doom, Foundation, Lamb, Lamb, and Web Mage.
Okay. Our buddy Jack Mangan, he said, Neuromancer,
Yep.
High Fidelity.
Hmm.
All I know is the movie called High Fidelity. I don't know if it's related.
Is
Lord of
that
the Rings.
like the REO Speedwagon album from the
Yeah,
80s? No, that was
that's
High
it.
Infidelity. Sorry.
Right. There's Lord of the Rings. I did enjoy that whole series. I love that. Dune. I read that a long time ago in high school. I didn't really capture that much then. The movie kind of sold it for me. Something Wicked This Way Comes, and my all-time favorite, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. All 5 book.
Sweet Steve says Sniper 1 by Sergeant Dan Mills, Lord of the Rings. Oh boy, I'm going to have a hard time with this one. I'm going to go Samlada Svenska Kultur by Anders Fager. Also available in English, Swedish cults. Last of the Zinjas. Do not read it as an adult. Be 15 with big dreams, is what it says in all caps.
All right. Next time
That's his
around, I'll pick
commentary.
it up. Next time around, I'll pick it up.
The Tales of Otori by Leon Hearn and The Martian by Andy Weir.
All right. And I'm seeing a theme here. Weber Baker says Lord of the Rings, Warlock by Dean Koontz, pre-horror sci-fi. Rendezvous with Rama. Who
That sounds really familiar.
EA did that, made that as a game, I believe. That's why you probably think it's familiar. Moby Dick, The Stars of My Destination, and The Poetry of Robert Frost.
Some poetry. Interesting. Something that's not like sci-fi adventure stuff. All right. Mike Robeson says Watership Down, The Stand. Interesting. First 3 Shannara books and Hitchhikers. Yep.
Yes. And John Kratzer says at the Earth's core, I, the Machine, and the Time Machine.
You got a machine thing going here.
Yeah, the Time Machine was cool. I also read that around high school time.
And saw the movie.
Yeah, well, the movie, yeah.
The old 1950s, 60s, what was it?
Was that in the 70s? Let's see.
Well, I think I watched it in the 70s, but I think the movie predates that.
Let's see. The Time Machine movie, I think I'm sorry, 1960. You're right.
Yep. All right. Did you have any you would like to add to that list?
I'm not as big as a reader as I wish I was. But
Me too.
Hitchhiker's Guide, I love Douglas Adams, period. Dune was okay. You know, like I said, it didn't capture me until after I watched the movie. But Lord of the Rings, of course. I don't really.
The Martian. Did you read or audiobook The Martian?
You know what? I read The Martian. I read it. Yes, you're right. That was a great read. That was a really good read.
Ready Player One?
I just went, huh?
Ready Player One?
That was good.
Did you read it?
I did.
Or watch the movie? Okay.
No, I try to read them. No, I did both. Well, I watched it, of course.
Ready Player Two?
I read that as well.
Okay. I'm going through a few other ones in my list. There's a whole bunch of Sigler in here.
Who? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that guy.
Now-
also like biographies. Like was it Walter Isaacson? Who's the one who writes about Ben Franklin and Lincoln and the news guy. He did like Killing Patton. Let me see if I can sort these alphabetically. I'll find it faster.
Yeah. I'll tell you another while you're looking at that. Was our buddy
Bill
JC
O'Reilly. That's who it was.
Oh yeah. Our buddy JC Hutchins, Seventh Son.
Yep.
That was actually a pretty good read. And he did a great job with the audio version of that. I think it's still available out there. Go check it out.
Oh, I'm missing something in my list that really captivated me. Oh, John Scalzi, he had a couple. He had Red Shirts and Fuzzy Nation. We didn't have anybody put Ringworld by Larry Niven. Walter Isaacson did Steve Jobs. I think he did a couple others, but I don't remember what the others were. Come on, where is it? I'm not going to find it.
Yeah, our buddy Scott Sigler. The one there was one I really liked. It was the one where the infected the people were infected. That's it, infected. And then
yeah, that's too real right now.
yeah. It was great back in the day, but
it was infected. Then it was
contagious and pandemic.
Pandemic. That was the trilogy. Yep,
yeah, it was pretty good.
Let's see. What did Scott Tyler says? The Drizzt series by R.A. Salvatore. The Horatio Hornblower series. Expeditionary Force, the Skippy series by Craig Allenson. My bank book. Sadly, no money in the account.
Yeah.
John Miller Jr., always with the punchline.
I know, right? Yeah.
You should start a podcast, buddy.
Yeah, he should.
It's a great waste of money.
Yeah.
All right, that takes care of it. We're going to
he's retired from Dragon Con. He's got to spend his money elsewhere.
Right. We're gonna Whoops, I started two at once. I don't know how I did that.
Another letter from our listener, Dave.
Horns, then typewriter. I can't remember what it is. All right,
Hey,
history
I
time.
know what it is. It's the
It's not
remember
history.
when or something like that.
Yeah, it's further down in the show.
Yeah.
On this day in history for August 31st, what happened to August? Oh, man.
It went away.
This is the 243rd day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are just 122 days remaining in 2022. We're getting, what did Michael Butler say? Life is like toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes.
Oh yeah, that's about it.
It was on this date in 1895 that German Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin patented his, yes, the navigable navigable balloon.
Oh, okay.
What
And
shall
that's-
we call it? We will call it the Zeppelin.
Yeah.
What a creep.
It's much easier to say than the navigable balloon. All
I
right.
can't say navigable balloon. See what I mean? Okay. Sorry to all of our German listeners.
Right.
Fritz.
Yeah. That same date in 1936, Radio Prague, now the official international broadcasting station of the Czech Republic, went on the air.
Is it still on the air? That's what I want to know.
Maybe.
25 years ago today, Diana, Princess of Wales, her companion Dodi Fayed, and driver Henri Paul, they died in a car crash in Paris.
All right. And happy birthday goes on this date to French physicist and instrument maker.
Guillaume.
Yeah, I know. Guillaume.
Hamilton.
Hamiltons. Born on this date in
We're gonna
1663.
Dub in Craig's lines at this point.
Right.
Hermann von Helmholtz, the German physician and physicist, was born on the same date in 1821.
Born on August 31st, 1905, American physicist and academic Robert Bakker.
There's also a dinosaur hunter by the name of Robert Bakker, but I think he's Bakker.
Oh.
He's the guy with the big white beard and the hat. He's usually
yeah.
seen, like digging up dinosaurs in Utah or Wyoming.
Yeah,
Okay,
I saw him on Jurassic Park. Yeah.
English physicist and astronomer Bernard Lovell was born 109 years ago today.
And American physicist and academic, Nobel Prize laureate Hugh David Pulitzer, not to be confused with the Pulitzer.
The Pulitzer Prize.
Yes, right.
I was thinking the same thing. It's like Nobel Prize in.
Pulitzer, born on this date in 1949.
Also turning 69 today is Russian astronaut and engineer Pavel Vinogradov.
Very
Ooh.
good.
Stumbled over that one.
Yeah.
Listener birthdays this week include August 31st, Tim Downing, September 1st, David Klemkin, September 2nd, Scott Tyler. He just sticks around to hear his name on the podcast, then he leaves.
I know how he is.
It's like communion after church, man. Stick around for the announcements.
If we mention his name Wednesday at Dragon Con, he'll leave.
Wow. No, it has to be after the parade. He's our Santa. September 5th, Ben Vaughn. September 6th, Susie Murph from How to Grow Your Geek, formerly from How to Grow Your Geek podcast. Yeah, you see. Nice. And
we love you,
6th,
Scott. I don't want you to go anywhere.
September 6th is Brad Miller. He mentioned his birthday's coming up, and I said, September 6th? And they both looked at me like, wow, how'd you know that? I said, I think it's on my calendar because when we used to work together, I put employees on the calendar.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't. I said, okay, now how did I know that? It wasn't until I was putting the show notes together. Like, oh yeah, he just put it on the Technorama birthday calendar. I look like a genius thanks to Technorama.
That's right.
It happens once a year. That was it. That's the way it was on this day in history for August 31st, 2022. If you want to get on the birthday calendar, show them that wonderful banner, Craig.
Oh, yeah.
Go over to truckchat.com/birthday, and we will give you a shout out even after you're gone. This is like a story we got coming up about how to remember, remember. We don't ask for DNA or anything. We'll just give you a shout out on your birthday every year.
No, they don't
So
allow
your
DNA samples on the Google form.
Apple Podcast has a tag for that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
ChuckChat.com/birthday. We'll give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year. So thank you very much, everybody who has done that in the past. Music done. All right. What's next?
All right. First story news.
News. Random blue button.
Good startling news, everyone.
There we go.
Good
So
startling
from
news.
IEEE.org, we have a nice story about prosthetics and bionics and amputees and whatnot. Very long story. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but it starts out with a reference to Jules Verne's 1865 novel From Earth to the Moon, where members of the fictitious Baltimore Gun Club, who were all disabled Civil War veterans, they were looking to do something new and revolutionary. So they came up with, those of you that know the story, you know the story. They wanted to come up with a rocket to go to the moon.
Mhm.
And it's funny because it says, what was it? They said not quite one arm between four persons and exactly two legs between six. I mean, some serious amputations, and amputations were a big thing. They calculated about 60,000 of them during the Civil War,
Oh yeah.
and additional ones in successive wars, World War I, World War II, even right on through the current war on terror. But there are still hundreds of thousands of people receiving amputations every year, car crashes, whatever, that are being fitted for these things. And the author of this, a Britt H. Young, is a prosthetic wearer herself. She was born, her left forearm down was missing. And she's been fitted and trying things out. So it's a very interesting story about how they come along. And they said that most of these artificial limbs are engineered by engineers, and they try to look better. Well,
Right.
if you think about it, if an engineer had tried to make like a lower leg for someone who wanted to run, it would look like a lower leg. It wasn't until they got working with the person that they came up with like the blade and went,
Oh yeah.
"Now that's functional. It may not look like a foot, but it works a
Isn't
whole
it
lot better."
seeing that it looks like a leaf spring or something. It's
That's
amazing to
pretty much what
see.
it is. It's spring
Yeah.
steel.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see people actually running, much less walking with that.
Yeah.
With that kind of, and if you look at some of the pictures, they show some of the different versions of prosthetics that this lady has, as well as other people. Like there's, I'm not sure how functional this one is, but there's one with where the I guess where your hand would be was the head of a hammer.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that
If you're
maybe
if
works
you're a
great.
carpenter, why not?
I mean, it's a still image. I can't really see how well it works,
Right.
but yeah, she's got one with a grippy claw, so she can pick up a kettlebell and do some
Mhm,
exercising.
mhm.
There's some amazing stuff, and what's even better, which I think is really cool. Speaking of 3D printing, as we did a moment ago with our buddy Brad Miller, was that people are experimenting on their own, making their own prosthetics.
That's pretty cool. You'd have to have, like, some rudimentary framework for the electronics, so you could fire servos and whatnot, but it might be,
Well, some may not necessarily
something that
need it.
fires, if you're, let's say you're a chemist or a lab specialist, you might wanna be doing the pipette thing. That would have you could have standard controls that would fire different servos. If you were, uh, a carpenter or something, maybe it triggers a drill or something. So there's gotta be, I would think that it would be very helpful, being in technology all these years,
Yeah.
standards are generally a good thing. If you can standardize what that and maybe it's unique to each case. I don't know. We're kinda speaking
Well,
out of turn here.
I would say you don't that not all have to be electronic. I mean, the guy with the hammer, I don't see anything on there. It's,
Right,
totally mechanical.
right. And, somebody who loses a forearm would be different than somebody who lost it above the elbow.
Mhm.
There may be different muscles that need to trigger different things. So
Yeah.
maybe I don't even know if standardization would be possible, but certainly something to contemplate.
Yeah, because you got a lot of different variables there. Well, that's cool. So yeah. Anyway, go check it out. That's a great article.
Tim Elliott is online tonight.
What?
Wow. Well, way to go, Tim. Haven't seen you in a while.
No kidding.
He said he was double checking Mark Shepard's page, and yep, he did pass away in
After my
January.
podcast. Oh, was he listening? Oh, he must have listened to my show. Yeah. Yeah. That would. Yeah. It was funny because I actually, in my podcast, this is for the dog days of podcasting. I actually was thinking, well, he may not even be here anymore, and I kind of guessed about that, and then I went and looked, and sure enough, it was the case. So
Now, we have another article from space. Well, the article isn't from space, but it's about space stuff.
yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out if I can play the sound of this through the podcast.
Well, tell them what it is first before we start playing.
Okay.
Well, I can.
Yeah, this is, you may have heard this. I heard it on Dr. Carl the Triple J, Science with Triple J last week out of Australia.
I haven't listened to it
NASA
yet.
has captured the sound from a black hole. Now, let me play this. I don't think you or the stream will be able to play this, but
There we go. I can hear it.
oh, okay. It's actually a bunch of ghosts.
It sounds like somebody took the Doctor Who TARDIS sound and slowed it down.
No, actually, what they did. I'm gonna bring the volume down just. It's about 35 seconds. What they did is they raised up the sound. It's a process which I'm sure everybody is familiar with who's listened to this before. It's called, and then it was done.
There you go. Scott Tyler says that was his stomach. Oh, sorry, we played the wrong audio clip.
No. It's a process called sonification where they're just making sounds out of data, out of raw
Right.
data. They're getting these signals. And what they did is they had to speed this up. This is not what you would hear if you just, put your ear to the wind in the middle of space.
Right.
Obviously, it wouldn't transmit that well because space doesn't transmit sound very well at all. So, no, not going to go into all the sci-fi shows that got it wrong. You do what you do. They had to raise this up 57 and 58 octaves. Okay. Now, to put this in perspective, where's the numbers? The lowest note that was identified back in 2003 is a B flat, just
Yeah.
over 57 octaves below middle C. The pitch frequency. Okay. Quick science review. We usually measure sound in hertz. It's a measure of cycles per second. So 1 hertz is roughly 1 beat per second, or
Right.
1 wavelength. Okay. A middle C is 256 hertz. So when you hear that bing, that's a middle C. Take that down a few. The lowest pitch they found was a frequency of 10 million years. That's how long it is between beats. Like,
How do you even record that? You have to wait for the next. Yeah.
you probably do the math, and then as you speed it up, you fill in the rest.
Right.
Oh, it's ascending for another 10 million years.
Yeah, and they said the lowest note detectable by humans is a frequency of 1/20th of a second.
Yeah, that would
So we're a little bit outside of the.
a little. That's why they had to raise this up in pitch so that we could hear it. So
Here you go, the Lawrence Welk effect.
raising the pitch.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, friends.
I
Take
think-
the Summonex if you are.
I think he was
having
about as
trouble
slow as
keeping here.
10 million years.
A wonderful.
No, I just thought this was really creepy when you listen to it, though, or has that kind of weird vibe to it.
It almost has an angry vibe to it.
I'm surprised we haven't heard somebody take it and make some music out of it.
Well, actually, it means the pod is coming to talk to the whales. And if we don't have any whales, we're in trouble.
Right.
Speaking of Star Trek, how you like that, Hook?
I like it.
Nichelle Nichols' ashes are headed to space to join other Trek legends. So from trekmovie.com, we found out that some of Nichelle's cremated remains, a very small piece, are going up to join. There's a mission called what is it?
Enterprise flight.
The Celestis Enterprise flight.
Yep.
And you can find out more at enterprise-flight.com. I did a little digging. If you want some of your DNA, you could go now if you want, or wait till you're dead and send some ashes. They're charging about $12,500 per person. So there's a little video in here. Obviously, Jimmy Doohan's got his. Gene Roddenberry and Majel Barrett.
Yeah, and
Rod Roddenberry, their son, put
Douglas
them
Trumbull
on there and sent some of his DNA. So he's like, hey, this is cool. And Nichelle's son, Kyle Johnson, also submitted some of his DNA to go along for the trip.
Oh,
So it's just like he said, I know she would be profoundly honored for this unique experience and enthusiastically encourage all of her fans to join us vicariously by contributing your thoughts, affections, and memories. There is a link. If you go to episode 684, find the article. What did we call it? Nichelle Nichols, Ashes Headed to Space. You can put comments in there. So I went and put some comments in as well.
by the way, if I'm not mistaken, and Clinton Alvord brought this up, he said, "Ask Mark Lee." We had Mark B. Lee on.
Is he
the
going to
topic of straight
space?
before? No, what he did was, I think he actually pushed to get Nichelle's ashes on this flight. If I'm not mistaken, Clinton can probably fill that in a little bit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did they have to delay the flight? Because it looked like from the website that it was supposed to launch in June. I don't know what the delay was, but all space flights get delays.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, don't forget, tomorrow morning, Artemis
yes.
launch.
By the time you read this, it already happened. But if you're watching it live, go check out the Artemis flight tomorrow morning.
It's between 8:30. They'll launch between 8:30 a.m. Eastern time and 10:30 Eastern. They've got a window. If they don't make that, they're going to push it off till Friday.
Oh.
So keep tabs on that. I'm sure you can find a gazillion YouTube sites that are going to cover this. So Artemis flight tomorrow.
Yep. Oh, by the way, Clinton says Mark B. Lee works for the company in some capacity. So
So he's hawking his wares is what he's doing.
yeah, right.
Give me your DNA.
Maybe you can ask him some questions as we pass by him in the parade. He'll be in the Dragon Con parade. He's one of the not safety people, but I guess safety that kind of keep people on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny, I'll tell you about this guy. He is he's really good at remembering faces and names. Because I saw him in the parade last year, and I said, "Hey, Mark." He said, "Oh, hey, Craig." I was like, "How? I had a orange hair."
Yeah, let's see if we can remember mine with a bald head on.
Yeah. So
it waves to Bender. Hey, Daniel.
Yeah. Right.
Well, maybe we can catch him before the parade or after. Don't want to stop in the middle of the parade and start having a conversation.
No, I just waved. We were walking by him, and I said, "Hey, Mark." He said, "Hey, Craig." I was like, "Wow."
You left an impression.
Well, he knows we're in the parade.
On his car door. You dented it, and now he's mad at you. He'll never forget your name.
That's it. Hey, don't tell. We're going to tell about that.
Let's move on to the Hacks and Strange stories.
Yeah,
okay, before we get in trouble. This could have easily gone in the Remember When as well. This is just a strange story. Yeah. And it's a story about the Janet Jackson song Rhythm Nation and how it has a certain resonance frequency in part of the song to cause a certain manufacturer's hard drive. Now, this is back in 2005 when laptops came out with this hard drive. Yeah. It would cause them to crash.
Break it down.
Yeah. It would literally break it down. So now her song came out in 89. So by the time you get to 2005, there's not too many people playing it. But how do you identify that as a source of problem?
I don't know. You know what? I would imagine that anybody could have been like in an office or something like that. Maybe it was playing and they had the problem. I wouldn't know to even ask that question. I'm sorry. What song were you listening to?
Yeah.
Oh.
We are a part of the. Always
right.
cuts out at that same spot. I don't know what's going on. So what they did is the manufacturer of the laptop or laptops in this case, because it's an old 5400 RPM drive, and clearly they have faster drives these days. They created a software patch to filter out that specific frequency. Now, the human ear probably isn't going to notice any difference coming through tinny laptop speakers.
Yeah.
So But that solved the problem. It doesn't solve the problem if, say, somebody's walking by with a boombox.
Right.
It's
Right.
like, don't play that song. Oh man, that's
Scott says at our age it's a soft drive.
not
Mm,
gonna go there.
no.
Not gonna go there. If you missed it, last week, oddly enough, I heard about this on a different podcast too. The Tech Stuff podcast with Jonathan Strickland had this. So
Wait a
if
minute.
you want to go listen, we put a link in the show notes for
Oh,
that
here
as
you go.
well.
Real quick. John Miller Jr. says, could be worse. It could have been a Nickelback song.
No, they never would have found the problem.
Oh, that poor band. I swear.
They can't make it more crap. I actually heard a Nickelback song today. I went, okay, they do get more. It's a bit like Rick Astley.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he leaned into it. All
Yeah.
right. So what about Tech Stuff?
Tech Stuff. Last August 24th, Jonathan Strickland covered this on an article called Janet Jackson and Nikola Tesla.
Nikola Tesla.
A catchy line,
Sure.
the headline will catch your attention. So if you want, go listen to that, and they'll explain it. He goes into, resonant frequencies and resident frequency, Resident Evil. That's what I was
saw that
trying to
movie.
think of earlier
Yeah.
today. All right. Shout out to the chat room.
Ah.
A few followers tonight.
Yeah,
Hey, Brad Miller is on there. All
Is
right.
he?
Yep.
Where's
Space
he at?
Dub.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
So we have
Scott
John Miller
Tyler.
Jr., Scott Tyler. Yep.
John Miller Jr.
Yep.
Clint Alvord.
Mike Robeson. Tim Elliott.
Yeah. Trying to score. Yeah, Tim Elliott.
Good group tonight.
Let's see. Scott
Big
Tyler
group.
again. Well, he's been really active. Yeah, and old StreamYard. There you go. Thanks, StreamYard.
That's a demo thing they put in everybody's stream.
That's right.
Every time you start up a stream, you have a demo comment. It's like, hey, so you can click around and practice. Oh, please take that off. Oh, for what it's worth, we're really close to finally getting the paperwork done at work. Did I tell you
What?
about that?
Still?
Yeah, we started this process a year ago. In order to get a purchase order, you have to have an approved vendor. In order to get an approved vendor, you got to sign a bunch of legal paperwork, like data privacy agreements, a data privacy agreement.
Right. Yeah.
And it went back and forth for 6 months, and then in February they kind of gave up and went, "We're not coming to any agreement." So we had a stalemate, and we dropped it. Well, March or April, somebody else picked it up, and I went, "Hey, if you win, I'm on board. Just put me down for 3 licenses or 4 licenses. Soon we're going to be growing the team." And they got it done. They got the paperwork signed.
Who did they bribe? What?
I don't know. Someone in procurement took it and ran with it. I went,
right.
Fine, cool. The whole time we've been using like the $50 a month license, but this will give us enterprise licensing, better security, more capabilities. I just had to laugh. Like, I've never been happier to have failed at a project and let someone else pick it up and run with it.
That's right.
Because I was still getting every mail. For whatever reason, they were CCing me on every back and forth. Well, we have a red line on line 32. We can't agree on what this term means. And I just read it and go, yep, they're still playing tennis.
Yeah. Bing bong, bing
And then
bong.
finally I get one from the account manager last week. Says, we're really close. I was like, yeah, I've heard that before. So, yeah, we'll actually get an official copy or licensing of StreamYard. And maybe we'll get some APIs because they said, hey, our enterprise customers have a bigger voice in the product direction. Single sign-on, external APIs, that kind of thing. So we can automate.
Yeah. So I guess they're big enough to or organized enough to start offering all that because they're fairly new company, right?
Yeah, they got lots of big name customers on their system. It's not just a whole bunch of rinky dinks like us.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it runs in the browser. You don't have to install anything. This is actually really great.
Yeah, it's
look how easy I can switch banners and all that.
The engagement is a lot of fun. All right,
last item in the hacks and strange stories.
We have one. You added something. Oh, it was indented. That's how I missed it. Okay.
Yeah. Last story
the paper thin retro Mac.
Yeah, this is really great. This is a Macintosh, like an old Mac, but it's stylized in a way where they use a e-ink screen, and it's instead of the entire case, it's just like the front of a Mac.
One of
Which
them
is
doesn't even have the faux floppy drive.
right. Yeah, one of them doesn't. That's right. There's just a slot cut for the. Actually, it looks like it's made out of foam core. Their top two.
Could
But
be.
yeah, you can go check it out. It's using a Raspberry Pi that's running what OS what version?
7. It's pre OS
Six.
10.
It says System 6 on the. Anyway, so yeah, it's way old, but it looks really good. I think a little work on it can be really awesome.
This one's got the indented bottom. I kind of like this case style a little better. This definitely looks more plastic or possibly
Yeah, it
3.
looks like they upgraded to plastic. So yeah, the display stand is laser cut from 3mm acrylic. It had to be
Yep.
heated so it could be
This
bent.
this one, they shouldn't have turned it around. This is
Yeah,
looks like a bunch of bathtub cock
they
holding the screen on.
they ruined the illusion. That's right.
It's really bad. But it's just a 3B plus, a Pi 3B
Hey,
plus running this thing. It's kind of fun.
so what's really neat is the guy just built it for roughly $100. So you could easily make your own.
There's something in the trash. You can tell the trash can's
Yeah, because it's bulging.
right.
Yeah, I like how Windows it just looks like stuff's in the trash on sticking out the top.
This is kind of weird because I'm showing a modern Mac showing an older Mac. That's not even
Yeah,
on a Mac.
yeah.
My
That's
screen
right.
is getting confused.
I do like this though. I can imagine you could use this for display, just showing some information on your well, like we talked about with the big e-ink newspaper the guy had hanging on the wall.
Mhm.
You know, I wanted to build one of those until I saw how much it cost. Those e-ink screens are not necessarily cheap. They can be, but
Right.
that one was like it said $2,500. Says, oh, thank you. I'll be going this way. So,
All
yeah.
right. We did our shout out to the chat room. Sunday nights, 9:30 if you want to join us there. So Facebook and YouTube. We have people on both tonight, I believe. So thank you very much. And that's also made possible by our patrons. Oh, look at that. The patron thing is next. Thank you to our patrons. They are generously giving donations to our humble podcast, anywhere from $1, $2, $5 a show. And in return, they get our gratitude. They get their name read out on the show, and they get a special episode. We're going to be signing postcards when we get to Dragon Con, so they'll get those mailed to them. And a couple people are getting T-shirts. Craig and I will be working on the T-shirt design and planning
right.
at Dragon Con as well.
I got some ideas. Yep.
Those $5 people are getting their T-shirts. Finally. Sorry for the delay. Our wonderful group of patrons includes people like Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez. You've heard these names so long, you probably were talking right along with me. You know what name comes next. It's like the song
Everybody all together now.
Let's all sing the patron song, the patron song, the patron song. Chris MC and Dandy Mancoyer. Doesn't rhyme with Dean Jensen or Denise Inglis or Gary Lindros. John Cliff or John Noble, Yorga Shrawan, and Crazy Joe Adventures. This isn't working at all.
This is not your karaoke podcast, Chuck.
Kyle. Chiocha.
Yeah. And our DJ, Sweet Steve London. No, go ahead. I'm skipping ahead.
We could do every name as a different style as our Leon.
Leon.
Mark Kilfoyle, Matt Baum, Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media. What did they put in Chuck's water tonight? Nothing. We have
maybe that's the problem.
People. I just get a thrill out of these people supporting us, and this is how it manifests itself unmistakably. Stephen Wishy, Steve Therian, Steve Cody, Steve London, and Tim Cook. All of those people went to patreon.com/Technorama podcast. Craig's got the banner up there without being prompted this week.
That's right.
If you're listening, that URL again, as little as $1. Some people even upgraded. They went from $1 to $2 or $2 to $5. Like, thank you so much. That helps pay the bills. We just did our domain registration transfer. We did software upgrades. It's a wonderful thing. And we've got the bill coming for StreamYard. So we're trying to be good stewards of your money. And
wait,
thanks to
they're sending us a bill?
Thanks to you, we can afford this. All right, before the song runs out and tells me I've spent too much time doing this, we're going to kill it.
All right.
I said, we're going to kill it. There we go.
Yeah.
Pass me the remote time. Real quick, we're going to do our What Did You Watch This Week? We finished up, I think I mentioned on the last episode, we started The Old Man with Jeff Bridges and
Oh yeah, that's right. How you liking it?
John, who did the voice of Lord Farquaad on Shrek? That guy.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a mental blank. Yeah, you can see his face, can't you?
Oh my God!
I
Why
want to
did
say
you
John
ask?
Goodman, but it's not John Goodman. Yeah, everybody's drawing a blank now.
John Lithgow. Yes, thank you,
John
Scott.
Lithgow. Thank you. Wow, our latency is pretty good tonight when people can respond before the
Yeah,
show is over.
no kidding.
The Old Man, very good show. The Old Man does not refer to the person I thought it did, and it has a wonderful twist at the end. I think it was 7 episodes. Very good stuff. A lot of action in there. It is an action-packed movie. A lot of back and forth
Movie.
from
It's a
time.
series.
The root of the story happens in like 87, 88, 89 time frame,
Mhm.
and they're kind of having fallout from that today.
This is a
And
series.
yes,
Yeah, and actually, what's amazing about it, I do know that Jeff Bridges actually had cancer and COVID in the middle of it. So he had to stop and then take care of all that. Then came back and I sort of say record. Did his part. So
I thought he was going to have a White Russian in there somewhere.
no, that's another dude. That's another old man.
That's the dude.
That's right.
All right. Also watched a show on Netflix called Bank Robbers: The Last Great Heist. Because I like historical things like this. This is in Argentina. There was a bank heist in 2003 or 4, somewhere in the mid 2000s. This guy architected a very interesting plan of how to get in and get out. I'm not going to ruin it for you. I watched it with English overdubs on it. They did a pretty good job of capturing the emotion. A lot of times when you get the English overdubs, you kind of get this boring reader going, "Yes, we were all excited about getting into the bank and unlocking the safe deposit boxes." They did a better job than that. Good story. It was probably twice as long as it needed to be. There were a few parts that could have been edited out.
Sure.
One single shot, what was an hour and 50 minutes? So, if you like that kind of stuff, it was all right. If you don't, skip it. And then my third one is Into the Inferno, which I swear I've watched before. Show about volcanoes. One shot deal. This isn't a series. It's not just about volcanoes though. It's about the people who live around volcanoes. So they go to Vanuatu and they go to Antarctica. Not a lot of people living around volcanoes there. They go to Urta Ale in the Great Rift Valley in Ethiopia. And a lot of they even start digging for fossils at one point. Going, why are we digging for fossils? Well, these are the people that lived here at that time, and very, one of these good sciencey shows. So I like volcanoes. I like dinosaurs. I like fossils. They find a
man.
lot of stuff.
Remember volcanoes? Kind of the idea of them scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
Well, they are kind of
And then-
scary. If you live
well-
next to it, yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, it scared me as a kid, and then all of a sudden, Mount St. Helens happened. It was like, well, that didn't help.
They did have the chicken church. The big Roman Catholic church that looks like a chicken.
Oh,
And the guy says,
right.
"No, it's
Oh,
supposed
that's
to be a
right.
dove." We've
It took
covered
me a
that.
minute. I was like,
on-
I have seen the picture of that thing.
Yeah, you've seen the picture of the chicken church. If not, look it up. It's
Well-
but a lot of these volcanoes have religions built around them. I mean, like local lore of the spirits of the volcano. They even went to North Korea, where on the border of North Korea and China is where the birth of the Korean nation was supposed to have taken place. So, lots of, at first you go, okay, these are just these, this little small group in, this one island chain. Like, no, this is all over the place. What do you got?
It just started, but I really haven't watched a whole lot this last week. But I started watching She-Hulk on Disney Plus. If you're not familiar with it, it's Jessica or She-Hulk. She is the cousin of Bruce Banner,
Mhm.
and she gets some of his blood in her system, and she turns into a Hulk herself. And so the series
Wait,
just
wait,
started this.
so
Hmm?
this had to have been an emergency crisis, and she'll die if she doesn't get a transfusion, or there's
Well,
no
I
other
think that's the
choice,
way
'cause
it was in the
you would
comic, but
you would obviously have more sense than to go, "Hey, Bruce,
no, it wasn't quite. No, in the comic it was a little different, but in the show there's a car accident, and she's trying to pull him out of the car, and she's cut, and so is he, and it just kind of happens.
oh, it
Yeah.
mixed accidentally."
Yeah, and what was interesting is some of the visuals really echo the Hulk TV show back in the 70s where, she turns into the She-Hulk and you see her blurred reflection into the paint of the car, kind of thing. That whole scene where it's raining and that kind of stuff. I really am enjoying it so far. It's got Mark Ruffalo who is currently playing the Hulk, and
Sure.
um, and you see another cast of characters. I won't lie and say I'm a super fan of She-Hulk going into it. I know about She-Hulk. I never really read it so much, but I know that people love it, and I'm enjoying it. I thought it's good. It's got Tatiana Maslany. She was in Orphan Black. She's playing She-Hulk, and
Okay.
I think she's doing a great job with it. And the CG looks good enough. It's she's a green character just like Hulk is, and I think they look pretty good. For there's it's not the mouths aren't always perfect, so it's got a little bit of that uncanny valley going on, but it's really good. I'm enjoying it. So there you go. And also,
Brad Miller
the
says, "Probably should have disclosed that to the rest of the Avengers, that his blood is
oh
somewhat
yeah,
infectious." Like, man, imagine catching COVID from that guy if he got a few
yeah.
droplets of spit from him.
What did you remember seeing Stan Lee cameo where he drank the soda and it had a drop of Bruce's blood had gone in it in the manufacturer. He drank it and he went, wow, and then dropped the thing and he
I
died.
feel great.
Yeah, but anyway, so the other thing I watched, I don't know if do you want to talk about it? It's the movie assignment we had for our other show.
Oh, sure. So we came up with an idea for our Trek Track panel. The topic is Trek, to compare and contrast uh, two movies. Again, the question is which would be a better Star Trek. Kind of thinking along those themes of Forbidden Planet, which was what, 1959,
56.
56, and Galaxy Quest. Quite a separation in years and storylines and obviously characters. Uh, but we're gonna discuss that. I'm not going to disclose any thoughts until we get to our panel.
Oh, I won't either, other than the movie itself. It's funny because everybody's overacting a little bit.
In which one?
No, in Forbidden Planet. I was watching that today, but is everybody overacts a little bit. A lot of the some of the people I recognized, I of course knew Leslie Nielsen, but
A
it's
young
funny.
Leslie Nielsen.
It's funny how young he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and actually, I thought the special effects were pretty good considering the time frame this movie was made. So anyway, I'm not gonna get into any opinions pretty much, but I think except for Robbie the robot, I always thought he was really cool.
That was his introduction.
Him, I had, I was really fascinated with him and B9 from Lost in Space. I always thought those were super cool robots, and so did everybody
He was
else. I
never
think
called B9, was he? They just called him the robot all the
no,
time.
but that was his designation. I don't know if they ever called him that in the show or not, but that's what it is. That's his name.
Wait, that was Data's little brother's name too. B9.
Before,
Before. Oh,
right?
he was rather benign, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, he was literally before. He was the first one.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're
No,
Lost in
the
Space
first one
robot.
was called Pinocchio.
Yeah. Actually, when my overacting imagination when I was a kid, I literally wanted to make uh, a B9 robot. I wanted to make it with wood and stuff. I was planning it out. I had drawings of the whole thing.
Get yourself a 3D printer. You're all set.
Well, now, yeah, I'll have to talk to Brad. Maybe we can do some timeshare on his 3D printers.
He's gonna come up with a whole new business model because we've
Yeah.
got we've got Uber, we got Airbnb. There's now one that lets you share cars. There's one that lets you share pools. Now I'm not renting my pool out like a
Oh, like
timeshare to anybody.
like Airbnb for your pool?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just like strangers show up between 2 and 6 and swim in your pool. And like, no, I
Bad
don't
enough I gotta
think
clean it now. Yeah.
so. And they don't want to be in there knowing what I do in there.
I don't think I wanna know either.
Brad's gonna start a new business about, rent time on my 3D printer.
Yeah.
All right, we have one question of the week for you before we go, because it is now the top of the hour. What is something the internet has ruined?
My childhood innocence.
Star Wars.
I
You
think
had
it's
You had an
obviously
innocent childhood? I don't think that's quite true.
maybe some of it. But yeah, the internet's ruined a lot of things, I'll be honest with you. Actually, I think it's probably pulled the wool or the curtain back on a lot of things that I really didn't need to know, or I thought something was different from when I was a kid. I'm curious. That's going pretty open in a question. I'm curious to see what people say.
Yeah.
Oh
Both
yeah,
rumors and
John
for
Miller
reals.
Jr. right off the bat, spoiling movies and TV shows. Absolutely.
You can prevent that.
You say that, but you can't stay off the internet for days. A new show comes out, and you're
Let's
like,
not
okay,
let's not mash the internet together with social media. I mean, that's like two different things. It's like calling email the internet
right.
or the web the internet. So the
All
the
right, that makes sense.
okay. So you can stay free of social media while a new movie's in release if you want to. You said you can't stay off the internet, and I agree. You can't stay off the internet in this
I
day and
work
age.
there.
I work there.
Yeah,
Right. But
right.
logging into a ServiceNow instance is gonna go, "Hey, guess what happened on the latest Avengers movie?"
No, but you open your phone and like the news is on there. It's like, uh, guess who showed up on the new She-Hulk? I'm like, you know, or the way they word it, it I'm maybe it's just because
The
I'm
majority of it is avoidable, Craig. You're not trying hard enough. You secretly we've had this discussion before, people. You secretly want to read that news.
no, I don't. It depends. Some things
Then turn off the notifications.
well, it's not the notification so much as
Unsubscribe from those news sources.
yeah.
You're doing it to yourself and then
Well,
complaining about it.
here's the problem. You say that, but then you want me to come up with stories to talk about on our show. So how am I supposed to avoid reading this stuff? So it's catch one. I'm gonna tell you next time She-Hulk's released. I'm like, hey, I can't do show notes this week until I watch the show.
You don't seem to have a problem keeping up with the shows, though. You already watched She-Hulk.
I know. I do watch. Well, when there's not a lot of shows going on, I can watch it in the morning with my coffee. So I'm watching and get it out of the way. But
The internet ruined the newspaper.
yeah, well, that's true. Actually, I think
I think the
in some-
newspaper was already ruined.
I was gonna say I think in some cases the newspaper ruined themselves, but I
Pretty
know our local one is almost non-existent. They went from having their own place here in town where they printed their own papers. I went and delivered them myself. I've done that, but now they're reduced to a small office. The
Do they have an
place in
online
Charlotte,
presence?
a place in Charlotte prints the paper for them.
So they're still printing. They haven't gone digital?
Oh no, they have a whole digital presence.
Okay.
But it's all behind a paywall. So there's some things I can't see. I go, oh, okay, let me look at that. Oh, got to pay.
Of course. I mean, they got to stay in business.
I understand they got to make money, but yeah, I have a feeling the printing of the paper has to be pretty low right now. The demand for that.
Mhm. All right. Let us know what your answer is. What's something that the internet had? We'll put it on social media. Probably not next weekend because we'll be at Dragon Con. But we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks when we get back. Look forward to hearing your answers. And until then, it's time to have the sign out music. Now Scott can leave.
Yeah.
Thank you once again,
Yeah.
Craig, for finding all the stories. If you want to get in touch with us, look at that. He's already got that up there. I'm going to read it from the screen. Contact us, phone +1 530 2428. We don't have a song for that one yet either.
Yeah.
707-530 chat is how you can get a hold of us. Email. You can also text. If you don't want to call, you can text. Technorama@chuckchat.com. We'd love to hear from you or read your comments. Oh, we did have one from Kyle. We forgot to put that in the show. Hold on.
Oh, we're going to stop and.
Yes, we're going to put Kyle's feedback at the end. We didn't miss Mad Marv. It says Mad Marv's favorite books.mp3.
Hey, Chuck and Craig. So, to answer your question of the week of what are my favorite books, let's see. In anime manga, I really like Rumiko Takahashi's work, Ranma One Half and Maison Ikoku. In regular comics, Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. That's probably the best Batman story ever.
Yes.
And the whole run of Sandman, that you're watching on Netflix, Sandman by Neil Gaiman. Yeah, his whole run was like the best comic book series I've ever read.
Yep.
Let's see, in sci-fi, my favorite sci-fi author is Robert Heinlein. I like Starship Troopers, Moon is a Harsh Mistress, and Time Enough for Love. Those are my favorite books of his.
Oh.
And more recently, Nathan Lowell, probably remember him, the podcaster, and his Quarter Share and Half Share, Trader's Tales. In the Golden Age of the Solar Clipper, that series of books. I seem to read that whole series at least once a year.
And the list goes on.
I'll go and redo the whole series on audio. And let's see, another one by Craig Allenson. It's called Expeditionary Force. And that one has a really hilarious character in there called Skippy. And from what I hear, it's supposed to be made into another TV show. I'm not sure if it's going to be on Netflix or Amazon, but from what I hear, it's in the pipeline. Let's see. And in fantasy and lit RPG, my current favorite series is Noobtown by Ryan Rimmel. And I also seem to go through the Completionist Chronicles by Dakota Kraut fairly often, going through that whole series. Okay, I think that rounds out all of my favorite books, at least for this week. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. We had something else in here.
Hold on. Nathan Lowell stuff. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was actually a great series. And he also podcasted that. So, it was called Quarter Share. That's the first book. There's Quarter Share, Half Share, Full Share, Double Share, Captain Share, and then Owner Share. There's 6 books in there. You can go to nathanlowell.com and you can find it.
It's nice to share.
Yeah, it's nice to share. I'll see if I can put a link to that in the show notes.
Tesla shares, Amazon shares,
stocks. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, where were we? We were playing a song that sounded something like this. There we go. Oh. All right. That means we're almost done. So give me a binary high five, Craig, and we'll get out of here.
All right. 101.
Take care, everybody. Stay safe. And if you don't see you at Dragon Con, we'll see you right after. Bye.
Bye.
That concludes our audio recording, and we are going to end the video stream and record our Patreon show. So thank you very much, everybody, for hanging out with us. The commentary in the chat, always appreciated, and we will talk to you again real soon. And